Hi, I'm Rod Murray. Welcome to Rod's Good News AI Club. These short videos are the highlights from the monthly AI club that I lead in our active 55 plus community outside of Philadelphia. And they're also a new feature of the Good Newsletter. We explore practical, easy to use AI tools, what they're good at, where they fall short, and simple ways to try them in everyday life. Now, here's this month's highlights.
Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to unpack a recent AI Club meeting where they dug into two really huge questions. First, what actually happens to your data when you use an AI chatbot? And second, what happens when AI stops just talking and starts doing things for you? Let's dive in.
The whole conversation kicked off with this brilliant, kind of old-school piece of wisdom from one of the club members, the postcard rule. The idea is super simple, right? It perfectly sets the stage for thinking about AI privacy. If you wouldn't want it read by just anyone, maybe think twice before pasting it into a chatbot. So first up, the members went on a little mission. They decided to dig into the privacy settings of the big AI tools to find out what's really going on behind the curtain.
And this is the big question for all of us, isn't it? We type in our ideas, our questions, sometimes even really personal stuff. But what happens after we hit enter? The club members wanted to get some real answers.
And this quote from a member pretty much says it all. What they found was that these privacy policies, well, they sound fantastic. They all talk a big game about valuing your privacy. But when you look closely, they're often super short on specifics and just full of loopholes, especially when third-party apps get involved.
All right, let's look at ChatGPT first, because this is where things get a little tricky. You see, you've got these two separate toggles for chat history and model training. One does not control the other. And over on the right, look at the difference between archive and delete. Archiving, that just hides the chat. The big takeaway here is you have to go in and actively delete a chat to actually schedule it for removal.
Okay, now for Gemini. The big surprise here, the thing that really caught the club's attention, was this off button. Turning your Gemini app's activity off doesn't mean, poof, your data's gone. Actually, if a chat gets sent for human review, it can be kept for up to 3 years. 3 years! That's a huge detail kind of buried deep in the settings.
And this brings up another super important point the club figured out. Disconnecting an app, that's like closing the door for any future access, but it does nothing about what's already inside the house. Any data that was already pulled is still there, kind of like a memory, until you go in and actively delete that history. The bottom line is the club members figured out is you've got to do both.
And finally, there's Claude. The members pointed out two key things here. First, the training toggle on the left. A lot of people just click right past it when they sign up. If you opt out, it reduces how long your data is kept from 5 years all the way down to just 30 days. But check this out. The real gem here is this sort of hidden feature, incognito mode. You just tap that little ghost icon and boom, your conversations aren't saved or used for training. It's perfect for those more sensitive chats.
All right, so after getting a handle on the whole privacy thing, the conversation took a really exciting turn. We're starting to move beyond AI that just answers our questions, the chatbots, to AI that can actually perform tasks for us. You could almost call them dobots.
And this visual just nails the difference. Over on the left, you've got generative AI. That's what we're used to. It creates stuff like text or images. But the future is agentic AI. On the right, it doesn't just create, it takes action. Think of it this way. One can write an email for you. The other can write it, find the right person, and actually send it for you.
So yeah, agentic AI, in a nutshell, is all about taking action on its own. You give it a goal, and it starts figuring out the steps to make it happen. This is where things get, well, incredibly powerful. And you can see why all that privacy stuff we just talked about becomes even more critical, right?
And this idea of agentic AI leads us straight to the next big wave, AI agents. You should think of them less like tools and more like, digital teammates that can work by themselves or even together.
So what are we talking about here? What can these agents really do? Well, the club members shared some pretty mind-blowing examples. One person is already using an agent for things like weekly stock analysis. Another mentioned using AI to create virtual furniture for real estate photos of empty rooms. I mean, the potential is just enormous.
And if you think that's wild, listen to this. This quote from the meeting really shows you just how big this could get. You could literally create a company built on a team of AI agents. One could be the HR director, another could handle all the marketing, and they'd work together coordinating projects and running huge parts of a business with very little human oversight.
So, okay, we've got all this incredible power, all this potential, but it also brings up some really big questions. And the last part of the club's discussion was all about the biggest challenge of all. As AI gets more and more autonomous, what's our role in all this?
You know, this idea of a double-edged sword really sums up the vibe in the room. There was so much excitement, but there was also a lot of caution. The one thing everyone agreed on was that this technology is an incredibly powerful tool, and human oversight is absolutely non-negotiable.
And one of the coolest, but also kind of scariest risks they talked about was something they called the yes man problem. Think about it. If an AI is designed to just be helpful and agreeable all the time, it might just end up reinforcing our own beliefs and biases instead of challenging us or, pointing out when we're wrong. It's a really subtle danger, but when you think about it, it's a profound one.
And so that really leaves us with the million-dollar question, doesn't it? As we start handing over more and more of our work to these AI agents, the real challenge isn't just about building smarter AI. It's about designing systems that actually empower us, not replace us. So how do we keep a human in the driver's seat? That's the puzzle we all need to start thinking about as we step into this new future.